Hello and welcome to another episode of the Sancia Block. I'm Santo Cheravino, and today's topic is nationalism. You know, everybody fears that word in today's era. Maybe about a century, two or three ago, it was like the driving force that created our sovereign nations and all that stuff. Well, today I'm going to explain its role in the way Sancia works with itself. Um, Long story short, even myself as a nationalist, I've looked into it a lot, at least since I was 18, and I've come to understand that nationalism is not xenophobia, which is what a lot of people come across as, the anti-immigration policies and, making patriots look like, the complete opposite of what they say they are kind of thing. No. For me, it boils down to like one idea, and that's just a strong sense of identity towards one's nation. And the way Sancia, looks at it, one of the things that inspired me, even as far as like, designing Sancia and its, culture of like liberty and all that, I'm truly inspiring from the old movements of the Revolutionary era. Think of like when America came through, France came through, Haiti came through. Like, best way to put it, they've been born from the minds of the brilliant and the blood of the courageous in their aim for sovereignty, liberty, and all these new values now that they're finally purged of a king. But in today's era, today's nation state that was born from these movements, now it's like lost to oppressive, ridiculous laws, unsavory emotions their own people have towards, these national values. You know, I just find that a little sad. So in Sancia, that sort of thing is kept true to tradition, almost like the whole nation itself is a brotherhood. And so to speak, Sancians, by my design here, would have to be like ardent nationalists. Now, my saying that is an important idea, not just in the whole like cultural spirit. Everybody sees each other like brothers and sisters. That's obviously part of it. That's probably the most important part of it. But part of what made me really, decide that I really want to go the nationalist route. Remember, nationalist, not xenophobic, because that's something I'll make about Sancia is we are not anti-immigrant. We are not anti-immigrant. We just have this policy that I'm about to explain now called, like, our people first, because obviously this is our home kind of thing. To follow up on that, I read an article out there that Germany at least evicted around two people of its own people. Okay, that's two tenants out of their own people to make room for the Syrian refugees that were trying to escape the war. See, now, you know what? I completely understand. They got to get out of there. It's a bad, bad war zone over there, And I'm totally cool with helping them out, but the idea of evicting your own people to make room for people who weren't even born there, raised there, I can't agree with that. Go ahead and make refugee camps. Go ahead and find social housing. Try and, if you even want to, reindoctrinate them into your new society, but don't put it at the cost of your own people. This is why even though I've seen the benefit of so-called socialist programs, I can't come to call myself a socialist because I don't like the idea of putting something completely at the command of the state. There are some things I agree should be nationalized. Others, no. That's somebody's trying to live there. You got to evict them just to get somebody else who wasn't even in that country in. That's not right. But that's the way Sancia rolls. It's our people first. We're not going to be like, get the hell out of our country. I can't condone that. I have foreigner friends, and they've really made a nice impact on my life. I couldn't find myself to say immigrants are a bad thing. I can't. Illegal or even legal. The point is, some of them maybe legitimately fled to get to a better place, especially in like Syria's case. It's war over there. But obviously, you're going to another country, you better live by their rules. You're going to become a new resident there, indoctrinate yourself, live by their rules. It's common sense. I couldn't forfeit my culture, my people, for that. So I should explain more, especially in terms of what nationalism means to Sancia. But I figured I'm working on a bit of a time budget here, so I guess I'll go quick. Long story short, what Sancians call nationalism is not like xenophobia. It's not about hating the immigrants, none of that. It's about putting your country first because you are each other's brothers and sisters in your home. That's like saying, you know, you wouldn't grant some visitor control of your house. You live there. You pay for the resources to be there. That there should be no reason that person should, be telling you what to do in your own home. That's the mentality. Otherwise, come on in, have some coffee, kind of deal. And it comes down to a very spiritual level. Like I said, these people, all the Sancians around are your brothers and sisters. We obviously don't know each other. You know what I mean? Like, I could see somebody from the other side of the country. I don't know who he was. I never grew up with him. But we're under the same flag. We're still brothers and sisters in some way, shape, or form. The other thing is, that's part of the magic of how I want my tax system to work. The taxes that Sancia works with is not so much to, give the government money to operate, but to operate on the behalf of the nationality. Maybe I really hate another Sancian because of what they've done to me, or I'm never going to know the Sancian as long as I live. But he still needs to be taken care of, and I feel it's my duty to, look out for him. I can't do it realistically. Maybe the person's about to get really sick. I don't know how to save lives. So my tax money encompasses all of Sancian, output. I guess that's the best way to put it. Economic skill, output, some sort of way to say ability to be able to take care of that person on my behalf. Not just on my behalf, but on every other Sancian's behalf. I kind of think of it as like the way tithes were supposed to work during the foundation of the churches, and obviously that's not what it is. I figured if I ever had like a Sancian foundation, or if the country ever did exist, I would definitely put the tax dollars to better use than say like huge mega churches. I first primarily I would make sure that people are alive, then that they're up in their game, educated, all that stuff, fed. And from there on in, it's just a matter of ability. Make ourselves a developed nation, because I feel that's the way we should advance ourselves. Look out for each other like brothers and sisters, rather than fucking, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and work hard for yourself. Especially in today's economy, that just, it doesn't work. It doesn't work right anymore. There's so much strain on it. How do you say that, and at the same time there's people taking advantage of that kind of economy? And what do I mean by that? They'll be hiring cheaper labor, they're outsourcing it, or say, here's a big example, you got, technological progress that eventually, displaces everybody. It's like, essentially, there's just no room to really pull yourself by the bootstraps, because there's so much involved that gets in the way of somebody's ability to even do that, there has to be a way to compensate for that. It's like somebody didn't ask to come into this world, and yet now we expect them to either work hard or basically die off if they don't get a job. It just doesn't make sense. There has to be a way to back them up and count them in our society. It's a little tyrannical. You aren't working, you aren't worth living. Like, think of the king and the serfs. You aren't helping out, then get the hell out, kind of thing. And last I checked, we got rid of kings. We bled to get rid of that serfdom lifestyle. We want to live among each other like, a family. That's the whole purpose of nationalism. And that's what Sancia, strives to go for. Especially for all the progress we have, that's basically displacing way over what any human can do individually, even in groups. There's got to be a way to compensate that loss. And in the end, it's just, that's not the way I would treat my family. That shit don't fly in Sancia. Everybody sees each other like a brother and sister. That idea of family, it's like you wouldn't screw over your own family member unless you're some kind of wicked. You want that person to, get the help up they need. Same thing. It's one thing to work hard and get the rewards. as far as, having a life, we don't challenge that. We want everybody to stay in the game. We want everybody to, be at their best. I guess that kind of resolves this little mission for today. I guess next episode I come up with, I'll pull it out. Till then.